My good friend Jim Groom, he likes to quote the early American president Thomas Jefferson on the concept of permanent revolution. And I think education is one of those disciplines that should always be relentlessly criticizing itself and examining itself. That's the nature of critical inquiry.
A comienzos de los años 70, Margaret Mead, una antropóloga ya de más de 80 años, en ese momento, publica un libro, Cultura y Compromiso, y dice ella, la generación que yo veo formarse, que yo veo crecer, es una en la que ni siquiera los padres necesitan hacer traición a los abuelos, porque los modelos de conducta, los parámetros de conducta, no son ni siquiera los padres. Ya no los abuelos, ni siquiera los padres, son los pares, son los de su propia generación.
Basically, what is going on is that the traditional educational system is going into a very deep transformation. And one of the reasons for that is the fact that technology is being appropriated by society as a whole. The fact that we cannot deny nowadays is that the students themselves live in a completely different knowledge environment than the professors. And this knowledge environment is going to burst out at some point, inevitably.
One of the challenges we've seen with new digital media, certainly with the explosion of information and this new abundance of knowledge, it can be very difficult to find patterns within that. It's easy to get lost in the sheer density of what's available. So I think educators can have a role in determining what those new literacy skills are and how to make sense of that information. But I think what's different, I mean, one of the things that really is enabled by digital media is a new form of participatory knowledge building. So in a way, I'm more interested in what these, countless millions of seemingly anonymous people will be doing together.
Alô, fantástico! Alô, telespectadores e internautas de todo o Brasil! Alô, funkeiras digitais! Alô, piriguetes cibernéticas! Alô, madames conectadas!
One of the most important things that are going on in this new century is the appropriation of technology on the part of the global peripheries. In Brazil, you have this phenomenon that is called the LAN house phenomenon. LAN houses are like some sort of cyber cafes. It's like small businesses where small entrepreneurs have built these places to give people access to the internet for a very small price. And it's funny because if you go to the favelas, if you go to Indian villages, if you go to the Amazon, you will find LAN houses basically everywhere. Because if you think of a very small city in Brazil, before the internet, there were only two ways of connecting to the outside world. One was television, and the other one was the post office.
Vamos a seguir necesitando maestros, indudablemente, pero en el sentido en que habla Sabater del maestro, que es el cuerpo a cuerpo. Y es que ya el maestro no puede ser mero retransmisor, mero organizador, porque para organizar información y para facilitar que la encontremos, Google es 1000 veces mejor que todos los maestros juntos. Pero Google no sabe hacer preguntas. El maestro sí sabe, debería ser el que sabe hacer preguntas y el que enseña a hacer preguntas. No tanto a dar respuestas, sino a hacer preguntas.
22, 22, green, green, 34, 34, 22, 22, green, green, 34, 34, 22, 22, green, green, 34.
The journal Nature did an analysis of, I think it was 10 scientific concepts. I think they found 6 substantive errors in all 10 articles in Wikipedia, and they found 5 substantive errors in all of Britannica in those same articles. But the instant the article in Nature was published, every single one of those errors was corrected on Wikipedia within about 5 seconds, and that certainly didn't happen in Britannica. The other thing that the study in Nature found was that they were roughly the same in terms of accuracy, but the Wikipedia articles had much more depth and much more diversity in terms of sourcing. I think the best phrase I've heard about Wikipedia is that it's technologically anarchistic, but in terms of its epistemology, it's actually quite conservative.
I think the leisure time is going to be important because that is the time in which you can pursue your curiosity. And curiosity is one of the most important learning tools for kids. And one of the things that I think is critical for schools to understand is that right now there is not a lot of space for curiosity inside of the schools. So, for instance, kids like video games. They must be going to the schools. Kids like the internet. Bring the internet to schools, because otherwise the world of the school is also going to become detached from the leisure time from the kids. And I think that is very bad, because the schools will end up losing the battle for information and for knowledge.
Again, in North America, we have this concept of the walled garden, actually very much like this. That the idea is a school to be a protective place where you can explore and experiment, and maybe you make mistakes, but you're not punished for those mistakes. And I'm not suggesting that that's an irrelevant concept, but at the same time, when you step outside of that walled garden, some very interesting things happen. So when it's happened a number of times where a student has written a paper about a contemporary scholar and said something kind of casual and dismissive, saying, this paper is a piece of garbage. And then the author, who probably has a Google alert for their name, sees the piece and comments back, well, as the author of this piece of garbage, allow me to say, it's a transformative moment, because the students at that point realize that they're not just pretending to be exchanging ideas, that they are actually out in that world of ideas.
Yo nací en un pueblito de Ávila donde todo estaba hecho para durar. Yo cuento siempre esta anécdota. Yo veía como los objetos pasaban de la cocina y de la sala al desván y viceversa, como los objetos bajaban del desván a la sala. Es decir, yo dialogué de niño con 4 generaciones. Mis hijos no, porque estamos en una sociedad en la que todo está hecho para que no dure, porque si dura se revienta el sistema. Entonces, los que no tienen memoria no son los adolescentes, es esta sociedad, es este sistema productivo.